The topic is the AI for pharma, and pharma is a completely regulated industry. So it is not, we are not that free when it comes to pharma to choose the AI solutions the way we would like to. So Aurobindo Pharma is a, let me give you few sentences about Aurobindo Pharma. It is an integrated manufacturing company. So what do you mean by that? We manufacture our own raw materials, we manufacture our own APIs, we manufacture formulations, and majority of formulations will ship to the European and US countries. Just we started the domestic the sales also. And majority of solutions are on-prem solutions, and we have cloud solutions. They are completely value-added solutions, but core, our IP resides in our data center. The challenge, see, Aurobindo is a generic pharma company. We are not innovative drug company. We are not inventing a molecule. We are just copying the molecule and manufacturing at a low cost so that it can be sold in different countries. In US, we are the #1 prescribed company in the generics compared to any other innovative drug companies. So now to innovate any molecule, traditional pharma, it takes 10 to 15 years. So why it takes? Because we need to do a lot many tests and lot many processed the formulations and combinations we have to do, permutation combinations we should do that. So it takes a lot of time, followed by the clinical trials. The clinical trials is the one where, see, we need to see the technology, how the technology improves. That means one is discovery, molecule discovery. That is the reason I started looking at it, saying that the traditional pharma difficulties or challenges. And another one is the clinical trials, followed by the manufacturing process and quality tests. I'll take you through quickly what generally what we can do and what we are doing that. So AI in molecule discovery will definitely it helps a lot. But initially when the AI has been introduced to the market, and some of the innovative drug companies, they started using AI. You know, unfortunately, with AI, the molecule discovery took 12 years. That means AI has not really given any kind of improvement especially in the molecule discovery. Then subsequently several the large language models have come with appropriate models, and they started using it, and wherever the molecule discovery is there, so they start using it. It started coming down, so it is not still proven yet. So it started coming down. So we never know how much time it takes. I was asked in one of the event like this is whether the AI will replace the humans. Humans cannot be replaced by any of the generative AI technologies. Today, generative AI is nothing but narrow AI. It is intended to do what it is supposed to do. It does not have any kind of emotions like us as humans. So that is the reason, of course, not only the emotions, and it cannot think this way or that way. It is intended, it is a point blank. That's why it's called narrow AI. Then how much time it takes? It may take, the prediction is it may take somewhere around 2050 to 2060 only. These generative or AI machines can think like a human, but still, again, humans cannot be replaced. So the one in the molecule discovery with the latest large language models and scientific large language models, the expected time to discover the molecule has come down a lot. So then clinical trials. Clinical trials are whenever a molecule is being discovered, a new molecule is coming to the market. Before coming to the market, it has to be subject to the clinical trials. The clinical trials will happen on the first on the rats, followed by the monkeys, followed by the human beings. So now what is happening is even a generic pharma companies also will use the clinical trials. In this case, how the clinical trials past data can be taken into consideration. Then there are models which we have seen in our company. There are beautiful large language models, they will say that how the molecule will travel in the human body and what kind of reactions can take place, so that we can narrow down the clinical trials, the period on the human beings, and we can expedite the clinical trials completion, again without violating any of the regulatory guidelines. Pharma is always a regulated company because of FDA guidelines as well as the UK and different countries' regulatory guidelines. So in this particular one, there are solutions on generative which we are using right now. It can definitely reduce the clinical trial, and sometimes the modeling by scientists manually, it takes around 29 days, and with this solution, we have seen that it takes only 2 to 3 days. That means around 20 days of manual effort by the scientists can be reduced with appropriate models. Again, choosing of the appropriate model is a challenging task. Next is AI in manufacturing and supply chain. The COVID has taught too many lessons, not only to the pharma companies on the supply chain and also to the regulatory auditors. Few of my friends work in FDA. They always give me that. Sometimes they take inputs and sometimes they give me the feedback too. So they were trained how to look at the system and what kind of challenges they can pose to the manufacturer. So here, why it is important for manufacturing? Ultimately, whatever product that we manufacture, it should meet the 100% quality compliances. Any kind of impurity in the material, any kind of impurity in the active pharma ingredient or the tablet or formulation or the suspension or the injectable, whatever we take, so that impurity will cause a severe reaction in the patient. So how do we make sure that there are no implications? That's where AI can come into the picture. Again, these kind of solutions should be four walls of the company. So whatever we are building today, we are building within four walls of the company. We don't expose any of our data to the internet, and we don't expose any of our models. So we'll download the models, whatever we would like to. We are building that. The other one is supply chain. The COVID has disrupted the supply chain, at least especially pharmaceutical supply chains, where the stocks piling up in various geographies, and the supply chain, the transfer of one geography to other geography also has caused a problem. So in such cases, what is the best solution? The best solution is properly forecast and properly replenish the inventory. The ERP systems are not catering 100% these kind of the smoothing of the forecast. So what we started building, in fact, we have already evaluated that. We have used, Aurobindo has used, there is a LLM called from Facebook, Prophet LLM. So that is taking care of the smoothing of the forecast. What we have seen is, it has the accuracy of the forecast is 90%. The reason why I am saying the forecast is, it is very easy to build the forecast based on the previous sales. But here, we also do the apply for tenders in various geographies. Those tenders are completely dynamic. We cannot say that it's not a seasonal forecast, it is not a trend forecast. The tenders can come at any point of time. At the same time, we cannot lose the tenders business. So that's where we have seen that this Prophet LLM has given a beautiful results of more than 90% accuracy. So that's where these two are, the supply chain side. On the manufacturing side, so the process parameters, what we call is, whenever we manufacture any of the formulation should be dispensed in a 24 degrees to 27 degrees centigrade. Our blender speed should be around 3000 to 4000 RPM. So any of the change or in these RPMs, they may cause a problem in the granulation size of the product, whatever we eat. The granulation size will cause a dissolution problem in the patient. So if any tablet, whatever you consume, if it is supposed to be dissolved in 2 hours, if it is getting dissolved after 4 hours, that is where we see the side effects. To avoid this, these generative AI solutions will come back and say that this should be, the blender speed should be 3400 RPM rather than 3000 RPM based on the materials that are being subjected to a particular batch. That's where we want, what we call that particular one is golden batch. So we define the golden batch, and golden batch will be compared with the actual parameters, and system will suggest that this is what it's supposed to be. And probably in future, what is going to happen is these AI solutions can even control the respective manufacturing equipment as well. So next is, these are the, what I see is ethical considerations. See, one is, with all these solutions, even though data belongs to us, what we also see is hallucinations. Any generative AI solution, generally it gives hallucinations. Hallucination is nothing but the improper data due to either your data quality itself is bad, or the right LLM, or the data is not sufficient enough to give the proper solution. So that's why you need to have, if any bias is there, that bias may cause a health issue to our subjects or patients. That's where now what we see is, in addition to the regulatory audits also, what my thought process is, we should have some kind of bias audits as well as stress audits on the generative AI solutions, especially in the pharmaceutical industry. Again, there are so many, it has to have so many controls, because any solution that is being deployed, irrespective of AI or any of OLTP transaction for a pharma, it has to undergo a lot of FDA guidelines, and without any violation in the FDA guidelines will cause a problem to the pharma company itself. That's what we should do. Second thing is, then these regular bias audits are mandatory in addition to the regulatory audits, and stress audits are mandatory. And we have to have a proper data set. That is where what we see is quality of the data. Today, in so many ERPs or so many other GMP systems are capturing the quality, but sometimes there is a tampering by the operators due to various reasons. That's where now we are restricting, there is no tampering, because any tampering may cause a problem to that. So these are real world cases for the generative AI. Pfizer uses deep learning for molecule property prediction, and Roche, of course, is natural language processor. And some of the things are Novartis, a digital pathology image analysis. And these are the other things which I don't want to read that. But today's generative AI solution is completely pattern based. That's why you see that it requires so many GPUs and so many other, because it identifies pattern. If any deviation in the pattern will cause a problem. So that's why pharma being a sensitive industry, it is very difficult for us to say that the patterns are accurate enough to give the right solution. What are the future trends? That also I want to give that. One is to simulate clinical studies. The simulations, now simulation, all LLMs have started coming that. We need to make sure that simulation should happen that. Then what I see is the AI plus quantum, and AI plus blockchain. See, if we implement proper blockchain technologies, especially in the quality systems of a pharma, where data cannot be altered. So that is one thing where your data is 100% proper. Second thing is quantum. The quantum computing, definitely it increases a lot of computing power. For example, any encryption today, it can be decrypted. Probably it may take several trillion years. But with the same encryption, the quantum computing can decrypt within few hours. So that is the power of it. At the same time, that also will pose a different risk of cybersecurity. That's why we also make sure that all these are under the purview of cybersecurity. That is one of the reasons what I see that most of the pharma companies, even though pharma companies are moving to SAP and etc., still I have my own doubt that they prefer the on-prem solutions to make sure that at least data is safe and secure. With that, let me conclude this and hope I have given some kind of insights to pharma generative AI applications. Thank you.